With PPI and CPI coming up this week, not much of a price action we saw today, but super interesting setups. Hey there, Tamir from FIBONACCI-Traders.com, your daily market recap. Like, subscribe, and without any further ado, let's see the charts. SPY closed the day under zero, no much of a price action. We started off the day with a gap to the upside all the way to 523 and then just went down, closed the gap, and then sideways move with 520 holding as support. This is how it looks on the daily. Nothing much. Closed the day, 0% movement. Now the 518 is the support. Next resistance by default is new all-time highs. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Where the SPY will head after PPI and CPI? QQQ, same thing. Look at this. Friday, we had a doji above the 441. Today, we had an inside candle, doji above the 441.60. This is the support. Long continuation. Good reaction for the PPI and CPI. And we will retest and we will go over new all-time highs on the QQQ, breaking below the 441, and we will go back to the 435, retesting it as support. This is how it looks on the 65 minutes. Always zoom in, zoom out to get a better point of your price action. QQQ, same as the SPY, went all the way up to the 444, opened the daily with the gap, and then slide back down, close the gap, retested the green line as support, and moved sideways throughout the rest of the day. Dow Jones closed the day a little bit on the red, 0.2%, holding above the 393. Bad reaction for the PPI and CPI, and we will retest the 3989 and maybe even go all the way, close the gap at the 383. Why do I think so? Because I follow price and I ask myself, what if? What if the reaction from the market will be not a good reaction for the bulls? First, the 393 will get broken, then 390 will be the next support, breaking below. We have this gap at the 383, and we know that more than 85% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. IWM in the past few trading days holding above the upper border of the yellow zone, above the 204. Now the 207.40 is the resistance. Just look left and you can see the 207.40 was a very tough resistance. Broke to the upside, broke to the downside, hang above it only 3 days. And since beginning of April, this 207 is a very tough resistance. Now the support is the 204. Below it, we have this gap at the 200. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when it will get filled. Anyway, all across the board, we can see that the market is waiting for CPI and PPI. This week is PPI first and then CPI. Bitcoin, for the time that I'm recording this video, still inside and below the higher trend line, but this is trend line takes us to the downside. As you can see, trend lines are the true support, in this case resistance for price action. Bitcoin struggles to close above the 63 area, support 6500, and then we have this some kind of a double top scenario of the 64 area. Below the 60k we will see 56 to the downside. Overall, bearish on 3 out of 4 time frames. According to the FTI, just one click away and you have everything that you need on your chart. Sell signals, buy signals, where to put your stop for short, where to put your stop for long, multi-time frames point of view. Below the 56 and it's all over. We will see 50k and then 44 to the downside. Hit a like, subscribe, don't forget to hit the notification bell because we are going live in the morning. Pre-market preparations 8:29 Eastern time. You don't want to miss it. Q&A, chart request, anything that you want, ask me and I will answer you live. So hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Join me, you don't want to miss it. Ethereum, same thing. Overall, Ethereum since March, the peak of March until this moment, lost already 30%, almost 30% to the downside. Now the 2800 is the support, downtrend channel below it, and we will meet all these future supports to the downside. MAGS, the Magnificent 7 ETF. Let's clean the chart a little bit. And what do we see? This is why we need the FTI on our chart. Why? Because it gives us everything that we need. Let's clean the chart. And what do we see? 39.50 is the support since beginning of May. What will happen if Magnificent 7 will break to the downside? This gap at the 39 will get filled, and this higher border of the yellow zone will get retested as support. Long continuation, what will happen if Magnificent 7 will break above the 40.50, and we will see 41.60 and 43. All you need to do, put the FTI on your chart, ask yourself what if, and the FTI will give you the answer. Look at the SOXX. Since May 6, holding above the 218, the 50% retracement. What if SOXX will break to the downside below the 218.50, 214, the lower border of the yellow zone, and then this gap at the 212 will get filled, breaking above the 224 and 230, and then 240 to the upside. KRE struggles the 50-50 area, the 50-80 area, all this area, very important area of support and resistance, super tough resistance. We can take the Fibonacci indicator, the FTI, a little bit higher, and as you can see, from this high, low, now hanging above the yellow zone in the past few trading days, still inside this short-term bounce. The 51 area is the resistance. Above it, we have this gap at the 52.20 to the upside. XLU, 2 consecutive days with not much of a price action. As you can see, we can take the Fibonacci a little bit tighter, so we'll have more support and resistance. This is the uptrend. Now some kind of retracement back to the 70.40, maybe even to the 69.90 will be super healthy. Overall, XLU still looks very, very bullish. Like, subscribe, check the links in the description below. Choose your path for financial freedom through trading with the Fibonacci Traders indicator. Next, we have AAPL struggles with the 188. The 188 was a very important area of support throughout November and December, broke to the downside, and since February, it is a very tough resistance. Once again, it was also resistance over here, beginning of January. Now, we also have a gap at the 173. Remember, the only thing that's really important is how the market will react to the PPI and CPI. It doesn't matter what we think about the numbers. It doesn't matter what we think about the fundamentals, the economy, or anything else. And of course, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. The only thing that matters is how market will react to those numbers, and if the market will react as a bear, the 182 needs to hold the support. Below it, 178. Failing to hold the 178, and this gap will get filled. Why? Because you know the answer. More than 85-90% of all gaps will get filled throughout time. Microsoft struggles to hang above the yellow zone. Now let's see continuation above the 420, and we will see 430 to the upside. Once again, bad reaction. The 408 needs to hold the support. Below it, this gap at the 400 will get filled. And of course, everything that you see and hear on this video and in general on my channel is for educational purposes only. Check the channel. We have the Fibonacci Traders Academy playlist. Free 40 videos, free playlist on how to become a better trader on the technical side and on the psychology behind trading. Check it out. Each video no longer than 15 minutes, so it's free. Before you take any other paid service, before you take any course, check the Fibonacci Traders Academy playlist. It will make you a better trader. Then if you want, check the links in the description below. Choose the path for financial freedom with me, with the Fibonacci Traders University. Meta inside the yellow zone. The 472, very tough resistance. Now the 460 is the support. We still have this gap to fill. Let's see how Meta will react to the numbers. Amazon basically moving sideways in the past week or so. In the past 7-8 trading days, holding above the 186 area. Very important area of support. Breaking above the 191, and we will see new all-time highs, and the trend line takes us all the way to 180 to 198 and 207. Google with 0.3% to the upside. You know this yellow trend line. We drew this yellow trend line way back, and once again, Google, look at the 65 minutes, opened the day with a gap to the downside, retested and got support from the yellow trend line. We went all the way up, closed the gap, and now this is the next trend line that Google needs to break up and above. This is the 65 minutes. This is how it looks on the daily. Now we are getting some kind of a price action, super tight price action on Google, breaking above the blue trend line, and we will meet 174, 181 and 190 to the downside, breaking below this yellow zone, below this yellow trend line, and this gap at the 156.60 most probably will get filled. Netflix with 1% to the upside, but overall in the past few trading days, Netflix just moving sideways. The 605 is the support, 623 is the resistance. You don't need to break your head. Just put the FTI. The FTI will give you everything that you need. You see, it's much more accurate than I am. This area, the 616 area, very tough resistance in the past 4 trading days. The upper border of the yellow zone, the 602, is the support, breaking below, and we will meet 590, 580, long continuation, and we will see 640 to the upside. Tesla with 2% to the upside, but hold your horses. Why? Because Tesla is just stuck between the 50% and the upper border of the yellow zone, the 618 Fibonacci retracement. Everything is about Fibonacci and trend lines. Now the 175 area, the higher border of the yellow zone, is the resistance. We still have this gap to fill below the 169. We will retest the 161 area as support. Below it, 147 gap will get filled. And of course, if we clean the chart a little bit, we also have this downtrend within a downtrend. Look at this. This is the downtrend that started over April 29th. We are still inside this downtrend. So if you ask me, hey Tamir, look, Tesla went up 2% to the upside today. Yes, but we are still in a downtrend. MicroStrategy 555 to the upside. Is it the time to buy MicroStrategy? You tell me. Inside candle, sideways move in the past 7-8 trading days. The 1220 is holding a support. It was a very important area of support over here. Now once again support. Inside candle represents an indecision in the market. In my opinion, long on MicroStrategy, first you need to follow the Bitcoin and only above the 1383. NVDA 0.6% to the upside. Sideways move since May 6. 1 week of sideways move. The good thing, holding above the 885. Long continuation above the 940, and then we will see 963. We have the gap at the 50% retracement, bad reaction from the market to the PPI and the CPI, and this gap, you know, will get filled. AMD with 0.9% to the downside. AMD continues to slide down, slowly sliding down. on this red trend line. And as we always say, there is a bad support, and this is a bad support. Trend line, this trend line that goes all the way back to beginning of March is a bad support. It was resistance for the lower highs. Now it's support for the lower lows, which means this is not the kind of support we want. Sliding down, and we will see once again 145, 141, and you don't need to break your head. Where is the next support? Where's the next resistance? Just put a FTI, continue sliding down on this red trend line, and we will see 141 is the next support. SMCI 2% to the downside, same as AMD, and basically same as the rest of the SOXX, the semiconductors sector, holding above the 765 inside this massive downtrend channel, below the yellow zone, no longer an SMCI, breaking below the 763, and we will meet 671. 3 out of 4 time frames are under bearish. PLTR 1.65% to the upside. Easy time to start buying PLTR, in my opinion, and it's only my opinion based on 7 years plus of experience following price, only price. I follow what the market is telling me. With the universal language of candlesticks, I follow and I listen to Mr. Market. Bearish on 3 out of 4 time frames. The 4 hours, the daily, the weekly is still under bearish, which are the 4 hours, the daily and the weekly. They are the most important time frames for swing traders. The 2030 is still holding a support, breaking below, and this gap at the 18 will get filled. Once again, thank you very much for watching this video. If you find it helpful, please hit the like, subscribe. Don't forget to check the links in the description below. Choose your path for financial freedom. Until the next video, stay safe.